we are introduced to the origins of Lucy and Alice's relationship. When growing up, Lucy's mother walked away, leaving a young Lois to raise her baby sister while Sam prioritized his military duties over his role as a parent. And being hot-headed like her father, and the eldest, Lois acted up and heavily resented her father for not being there, their strained relationship only improving in the last few years. However, all this turmoil took a toll on Lucy, now an adult, being the daughter of the former head of the DoD and the younger sister of the famed Lois Lane. By her own words, she's a nobody. This fits perfectly with Alice's philosophy of being incomplete, and using her silver tongue, Lucy's almost helpless and starts drinking the proverbial Kool-Aid. Then, in a scene too reminiscent of real life, Superman decides to go back to the Bizarro universe to battle the present-day, godlike, Kryptonian-killing merged Ali Armstrong to try and save the world now. But his wife says, No. It's too dangerous. Besides, you're not gonna leave me alone with the kids again. You are going to spend the day with them instead. And he does. It happens. It's called having a good wife. John Henry, the artist formerly known as Steel, stresses about the fact that Superman and Tal-Rho were almost powerless when they confronted Ali. But somehow, his suit allowed him to stand his ground, and he has no idea why. The reason comes through the door and offers to help him, but he just dismisses her and sends her to get some breakfast, only to find the much superior suit she created for herself. Back in the farm, Clark has to relate to his sons how Lana, now knowing he is Superman, wants all of the Kents to stay out of her family's life, which may seem like made-up CW drama. Like in the last episode when Lana got upset at Lois because she never told her Clark's secret. Her husband's secret. Like, what the hell? But seriously, since they came back to Smallville, Kyle was possessed by a Kryptonian consciousness. Sarah was taken hostage by a metahuman trying to get to Jordan and almost got killed by the DoD. Her town and all of their friends turned against them when they were manipulated by Superman's long-lost brother. And she even had to embody Lara for an episode. So yeah, Clark, I love you, you're my oldest friend, but stay away from my kids. Jordan kind of gets it, but you can see from Jonathan's face that he thinks this is some bullshit. At the Smallville Gazette, Chrissy reluctantly helps Lois with whatever information she recalls from her time with Ollie, but she resents Lois for still keeping her on a need-to-know basis. Sam comes in and shares a possible lead on Lucy's whereabouts, and he reluctantly agrees to let Chrissy tag along. Then we get a glimpse at this monstrosity. With everything that happens on this show, it's ridiculous that this annoys me, but it does. Same as with whenever I see it in the comics. I will take your parallel universe, I will take your powerful aliens, even your made-up drama, but never a cube world. Never. Gravity will never allow this. Also, on this episode, Clark will teach Jordan to fly, but I have no problem with that. Anyway, Ali, now ruler of the Inverse World's world, announces to everybody that she will merge this Earth with ours, to Bizarro Lois's dismay. Then John gets upset because Nat made a suit for herself, which I get. But at the same time, we're talking about the person responsible for the original suit who reprogrammed the Luthor AI, who escaped their dying Earth all by herself and found him. And he does seem to need the help. So just saying. He threatens her with taking the suit apart himself if she doesn't, but she just gives him some sass and walks away. Sam, Lois, and Chrissy arrive to a lodge in the middle of nowhere, but they leave Chrissy in the car and go inside to confront the remnants of Alice's followers on this Earth, including Lucy. She doesn't want to hear anything, and Sam does the most reasonable thing, shackle her. In the barn, Clark gets a much-needed time with Jonathan, who shares that he feels like a screw-up. He even refers to himself as the lying son who let everybody down, that his classmates hate him, and that he's never going to play football again. And most important, that he has no future. What really bothers me about this is that for all the attention they pay to their kids, both Clark and Lois are failing to realize that Jonathan needs a different type of help. He doesn't need a lecture or platitudes. He needs to be heard. And it's heartbreaking that in this scene my lifelong hero fails to connect with his kid and ask the most basic of questions. Why do you feel like that? And with Jonathan finally opening, Clark decides to leave and go find Jordan. Across town at the mayor's office, Jordan pleads with Lana to let him see Sarah and tell her the truth, and they don't even bother with closing the door, which is ridiculous. But Lana is relentless, even when Jordan, almost crying, tells her that he loves her daughter. She shuts him down hard, but with good arguments. Clark finds Jordan pining over Sarah after he's stuck with Lana and tries to give him some perspective by acknowledging his gifts and what he will be able to do with them. Then he takes Jordan to a place near his fortress and shares that he spent years there, perfecting how to fly, but then without any guidance whatsoever, tells Jordan to just jump into the abyss and roots for him silently. Fortunately, it works. And jokes aside, what this show does perfectly is present wholesome moments that put a big smile on your face, like this one right here, that ends perfectly with Clark telling Jordan of how he calls his favorite flight pass, the Castle Run, with Jordan having no idea what that is. Back in the forest, the Lanes share a moment. Lois tells Lucy that she was hard on her after her mom left because that's how she thought children were supposed to be raised, which is insane. As an adult, it is difficult to raise children. A child raising another child is a losing formula. Then Lucy is finally hurt. Sincerely, she says she always felt Lois looked down on her, as if she was a burden on her sister's life. Hated, Lois apologizes and confesses that Lucy was her life raft. She says that without Lucy, she doesn't think she would have survived her childhood. She asks for a chance to prove to Lucy that she loves her, with actions, not just words. This makes something click in Sam's head, and he opens the shackles. But the moment is cut short when Allie appears outside the lodge. Then everything takes a turn for the worse. Instead of running, the Lanes confront the flying godlike woman, who beats Superman with mean words. Allie shares that she doesn't need the pendant to merge individuals anymore, but rather, with enough power, she can merge worlds, and she demands that Lois reveals Superman's location. And since half of these Allie is from the Bizarro world, where the Kents didn't hide their identity, and even had John L. as a follower, she must infer that Clark is most likely Superman here also. I mean, she's asking Lois for his whereabouts, yet she doesn't disclose this to Lucy right then and there. Your sister has lied to you all this time, a secret even your father knows and kept from you also. I would never lie to you, etc., etc. None of that. The implication here is that since Lucy knows they have the ELT, the device they used to call Superman, everything falls on her. But earlier, all of the other followers saw the device, and one even said, oh, that's what they used to call Superman. But whatever. At this point, Lucy sides mostly with Allie, so she reveals the ELT and threatens to use it, but Sam tries to take it from her, maybe to destroy it, and Allie uses her life-absorbing powers on him to Lucy's horror. A sharp contrast to the always loving Allie, who never raised her voice and claimed to never hurt anybody. Lucy is forced to use the device. At the Kent farm, Clark and Jordan return from the fortress, but Jordan still needs to work on his superhero landing. Jonathan greets them, but with some heavy stink eye, having finished all the chores by himself. Then Clark and even Jordan pick up the ELT signal, and Jordan even distinguishes that the sound comes from Sam's ELT, showing how much dominion he has over his hearing now. Clark flies away at super speed, and when he arrives, the sonic boom warns Chrissy. But the situation is so sad for Superman that Allie grabs him mid-air and throws him to the ground, with even Chrissy being like, what the hell? She then calls Sam Lane's emergency DOD number, which is picked up by the Steel's AI, who go to the rescue. Allie continues to drain Superman of his power, and the process lasts so long that for 1 second I thought they were actually going to kill Superman. Which may sound dumb because the show is called Superman and Lois, but remember that in this show, we've had Steel, the Eradicator, Doomsday, and Superboy. So the only thing missing from the death of Superman is the death of Superman. But fortunately for everybody involved, Nat is here, and by using her tech manages to take Superman from asystole to normal sinus. Then John Henry flies Clark to the DoD, which is annoying because the #1 rule of helping a dying Superman is the yellow sun. Lois is there. She knows this. When Sam wakes up, Lucy seems remorseful, now knowing that the all-loving Allie Armstrong never really existed. There was a great cost to Lucy coming to that realization, one from which Superman may never recover. John tells Lois that in his current state, the doctors were actually able to draw blood from him, which stuns her. She and John then have to go and tell Jordan, John and Nat that Clark may have lost his powers permanently, and because of it, they will all have to step up. Then the episode ends with Allie telling Bizarro Lana to kill off our Superman, and since this version of Lana is just pure evil, she doesn't hesitate. She may not know yet that Allie killed Bizarro Talro, who was her husband in Bizarro Land, and maybe there she wasn't Clark's oldest friend. But I think she would have some issue with killing the other self of her brother-in-law. But apparently not. Then Allie enters the portal and using the stolen powers starts to merge both worlds. Now this episode also had some Cushing drama. Sarah wanting to be a singer, Kyle using the bar of the woman he had the affair with, Lana finding out, but then everything resolving and them having a nice dinner. And that's it. Nothing wrong with that, but even though I love this family, it's just weird to have their little down-to-earth problems side to side with Superman's. But I'll say this, in a few years the action scenes will look dated, but the little moments, if done correctly, are what will make this series worth remembering. But anyways, I love this show, and I love the characters. The story, not all the time, but as long as it keeps putting a smile on my face, I'll keep on watching.
Can we do it again? Yes, okay, we're gonna do one of my favorite flight paths. All right. I used to call it the Kessel Run.
What's that?